Well, what a special week it has been here at Royal Ascot. As ever, Jason Weaver joins us to look at Saturday's action with the Punters guide. But, well, we're looking ahead to Saturday, but this week it's been rattling quick ground. We've had some course records loaded. It's been a fantastic week of action on the track.
Yeah, it's been super on the track. The one thing, and it has been just that middle part of the week where we set off and it looked like we were going to get a completely uniform track, and then it just appeared sort of around about Thursday that we were on a bit of a travelator up towards the stand rail, weren't we? So look, it's not been easy. Fast conditions. Trawler Man was spectacular. Field of Gold was pretty special and a lot to look forward to. We've got some tremendous clashes to get stuck into coming forward.
So now I'll tell you what, I'm going to put my hat on because I just realised it's been that warm here. I didn't have my hat on. It has been absolutely roasting all week, hence why the ground has been baking.
Yeah, and they've had to put water on. There have been one or two questions as to whether it was fair for all. I think they've done a great job on the whole. You know, we've only seen on one or two occasions the likes when Continuous and Los Angeles went off far too quick in the Prince of Wales. But, barring that, it's been tremendous racing action.
It has. Let's say the best of the last then. Day 5, the 5th and final day. Look at the Cheshire, the boys in blue versus Ballydor. Once again, it's kind of the norm for this race, isn't it, of late?
It is. You're trying to shy away from those two. Treen Moor, who got the job done at Newmarket, that was over 6 furlongs. And it was interesting that when they had the chat afterwards, the team was saying, look, we were immediately, or our original thought was, he's definitely a 7 furlong horse, so we're going to go for the Cheshire. I think they were quite surprised at how much sort of boot he showed. Thankfully, I believe that he's calmed down a little bit and relaxed into a touch more of a rhythm. So the 7th furlong's definitely going to suit him. And they need to fight back, or Charlie Appleby does at least.
Yeah, he certainly does. Not to win. I think it's 3 years now. 2022, his last winner was for Charlie Appleby. What about the Hardwick? No Kalpana. She misses the race, which means a bit more wide open.
Yeah, it is. I think that Al Riffa ran really well, especially when it was over the extended 10 over in Saudi Arabia. He's got some really good form down over 1.5 miles. I don't think he'll mind the ground. I thought that was a good run on quickish ground over in Riyadh, as I mentioned, and they put the blinkers on. Again, another trainer. He went painfully close earlier in the week, didn't he? 2nd, 3rd and 4th in one of the big races, but he needs to get that on the board. So I think that Al Riffa's probably the wrong price. I think he was floating around about 6s, somewhere there. So he might be tempting if he slides a point as an each-way poke.
Okay, I'll refer then in the Hardwick for Jason. What about the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes? One of the final Group 1 of the week, over 6 furlongs, an international flavour here.
Yeah, it is. Lots of people are going to latch on to Lazat, aren't they? I mean, that's been a big money purchase by the Wathnan team, who have had a tremendous week here at the Royal Meeting. I think that I'm asking Aidan O'Brien to turn up on the magic carpet again, but he normally does, doesn't he? And Stormboy was a horse who I had sort of marked down as one to follow in the sprint division, because our sprinters are not the strongest, are they? Obviously, Lazat coming in with the international flavour, but Stormboy, he was last when we saw him, not beaten far, 5 and a bit lengths. He's bound to improve. He went off 6-4 favourite for the Greenlands. He's now currently around about 5-6-1. Just think that he is a good bit better than we saw last time.
Yeah, I think so. The market suggesting that certainly as well. The vibes are very positive about him in Ballydor. The Jersey Stakes at 420. I'm not being trying to be cruel, but it's a bit of a substandard renewal for what we're used to.
Possibly. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, hence why I've gone right away from the top of the market. There's a horse who I'm sure that Ed Walker thought was going to be his Guineas horse at the start of the year, Noble Champion. Ran him at Newbury. That was over 7. He then went up to the mile at Goodwood. Didn't happen for him at all. Maybe he was thinking a fitness edge. And then he came back down over 6 furlongs last time. He returns to 7, long sprint, bit of quality. They've had to lower their sights, and that can often happen, can't it? You think you've got a 2,000 guineas contender, it doesn't work out. Where do you end up? 7 furlongs to Jersey is just about 1 step down the ladder. I think he's a fascinating contender, and again, he's up there. He's double carpet. He's 33-1.
Caught my eye as well, Noble Champion. He's a horse that I've had a couple of quid on at the time, and yeah, I thought he was a big price in a race that probably isn't up to scratch, I think it's fair to say. Right, we've had plenty of punters puzzles this week, as always, and the Wokingham is one of the biggest of all.
So I looked at the start of the week and I wanted one horse that I could latch onto. I obviously didn't know the draw at the time. There's one in here that I've been following since the start of the current campaign. It's Shartash, who goes for Wathnan Racing, Archie Watson. James Doyle gets the leg up. He has been warming up really well for this particular contest. He was a one-time thought Group 1 performer when he was trained by Johnny Murtagh. He then has come across to Archie's. He's dropped an awful long way down the handicap. He's 11 pounds below his peak. The worry is, and it's there for everybody to see, you need to watch and see how the draw plays out, because he's over the far side. I'm hoping that it's evened itself out and it's not going to be such a negative, if you like. But Shartash, I think he's around about 20s. He's been on my radar for a long time.
There we are then, Shartash. Hopefully it is more of a level playing field by the time they kick off at 5 o'clock in the Wokingham. The 5:35 is the Golden Gate Stakes, over 10 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. Again, another wide open handicap.
Yeah, not bad. I think it'd be great for Ray Dawson. Now, Ray went over, he had a particularly good time over in Dubai in the winter. He rides Salal. It's from a family that the trainer knows well, out of Nahrain, from that owner's long line of excellent pedigrees, and he must be a bit of a handful for Ray to still be on him. He dropped him twice on the way to post at Hamilton last time, still came home pulling the proverbial cart. Could be anything. I don't think that a mark of 97 is hard at all. I think he's been gifted that.
Salal then, yes, for Roger Variant of another winner this week. And then the finale, Willie Mullins pitching up here. He's used to Cheltenham Festival, Aintree, Punchestown, but he's not averse to a win at Royal Ascot. Rymore, but for the odds-on favourite in the last. You don't do odds-on favourites, but is he a good thing?
No, I don't think he is a good thing. I think the good thing ran earlier in the week. Samui, who goes for Gordon Elliott and Colin Keane, ran over 1.6 miles, never any closer than right on top of the line behind one of the handicap good things of the week. He steps up a mile in trip. It's well within his compass. He has been overlooked. I will be getting the odds-on shot beaten in the lucky last.
Samui then for Gordon Elliott, yes, ran well on Tuesday indeed. Right, what's your best bet then to send us home happy from Royal Ascot on Saturday?
Listen, we need to look at the draw. I think that is key, isn't it? If Shartash manages to, or if the low numbers are matching up, I think that he's got to be high on anybody's list. And Al Riffa at 6s, I think he's the wrong price. Look, I've put up a few at prices throughout the week, and Noble Champion each way at 33s. He's got to be the wrong price.
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Jason Weaver got his picks, but we've also got Frankie Foster with him separately here at Royal Ascot in all our final. It has been a brilliant week, hasn't it? It's been red hot both on and off the track.
Yes, it has. Great action on the track. Obviously, the quickness of the ground plays into the course record that was set by Chorleyman, but you still have to be super impressed by him. I thought that was probably one of the performances of the week for me. We've seen some really exciting 2-year-olds, particularly from Ballydor, which gives us a lot to look forward to next year. I know it's a long time away, but you know that they're assembling a strong team already. We don't know what's happened on Friday yet. We've got good action today, and then we're going to talk about Saturday. Yeah, I love this week. I mean, we kind of say it about every meeting before, don't we? Oh, it's the week of the year. We say it before Cheltenham, we say it before Aintree, but I think this is the one for me. It's great fun. It's great fun.
It is, it certainly is as well, and it makes you proud to be British, it does. Let's look ahead to the action on the final day. Start with the Cheshire. You mentioned the 2-year-olds at Ballydoyle are assembling. They've got one here against a Godolphin not put. The big battalions going head to head.
Yeah, it was a Sunday afternoon in Newmarket that Charlie Appleby, I know it's not far for him to go, but he made a point of really looking after Tremor in the preliminaries, was there to see him race. William Buick was very pleased with him before the race. I know you always get lots of chitter chat around Newmarket about 2-year-olds, don't you? But you have to decipher who's talking nonsense and who's telling a bit of truth. But there was a lot of chat about him before he even ran in that race about being the Chesham horse, and I think they were super pleased with what he did at Newmarket that day. So I think you've got to kind of keep the faith in him. I was impressed with him. I was stood by the finishing post. I liked what he did. He was professional. You need that when coming to Ascot as a young horse, because there's a lot going on. It's going to be hot on Saturday, and probably it's a sellout crowd on Saturday, so there'll be a lot going on. Charlie Appleby needs to break that sort of hoodoo that's almost building up, doesn't he? But it might be the horse to do it.
Yeah, 2022 is the last Charlie Appleby winner at Royal Ascot going into this year. What about the Hardwick at 305? No Kalpana, she's out.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? I would have really liked to see how she would have got on, and Andrew's horses have ran well this week. He's got on the score sheet a couple of times and in the places as well, with probably some bigger prices. Al Riffa was a horse I kind of kept backing last year. Backed him in the Arc and he didn't do a whole lot. Yutaka Taki, the Japanese jockey, rode him. I think trying to almost get that first Japanese Arc winner via a Japanese jockey rather than a horse. But if you look at, I think Dylan Brown McMonagle, who will ride him on Saturday, I think he's ridden him 3 times, or at least he did kind of at the back end of last year. He did when he was second to City of Troy in the Coral Eclipse. I think he gets on well with him. I feel like there's a big performance in him. He's taking a drop back in class, really. I know that Ghostwriter is also doing that, but I feel he'd be better for his last start. Joseph is a really good target trainer, as we know, and yeah, I think they probably would have formulated this plan after maybe last year not going quite as they'd like it to. Just leave him a little bit lightly raced, get him right for Ascot, and yeah, could be his big day.
Could be, yes. Al Riffa then for Frankie, and Jason obviously put that one up a little earlier as well for the Hardwick. Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes, the final Group 1 of the week, feature race of the day, and I think you're going international.
I am, yeah. Maybe a bit of bias because I've been lucky enough to see Kai Ying Rising in Hong Kong a couple of times now, and it probably has worn off on me. They just think he is the world's best sprinter. They've given him that title, and I understand that form has to translate elsewhere. Hong Kong racing is pretty unique, and there obviously aren't all the sprinters from around the world going to those Hong Kong meetings. But one, the track is going to be rattling quick, and Japanese horses are used to that. It's similar to Hong Kong. 2, Kai Ying Rising, whether he's the world's best, he's still very, very good. And I don't think it's the deepest field we've had for, the last couple of years. I'd say have probably been better renewals than this. So I'm kind of willing to take that second behind Kai Ying Rising as the standout foreman and see how he gets on here. Japanese haven't had a winner, have they? I can't remember the last one.
No, Magic Man Moreira on board as well.
Yeah. Well, we've had international jockeys riding though. J Mac, obviously, Longines world's best jockey. He goes well in Hong Kong. And Mark Zara. Do you know, he came in...
his whip.
Yeah, did you hear what he said? He said everyone kept taking the mick of the whip rules, so I just threw it away. But you know what he did? I mean, he's living the dream. He came in for one ride, rode the winner, and then he's gone on holiday to Ibiza.
Happy days.
That's my sort of style. That's my kind of jockey.
Giving it up, yeah. Getting the whistles out. Right, let's talk about the Jersey Stakes at 4:20. Probably not the deepest renewal. They normally have horses come back from the Guineas in this, so those that were 5th, 6th in the Guineas. But obviously we've got Comanche Brave, who's 5th in the Irish version, and Ryan Moore rides that for Donica. Yeah,
I think Donica could go well in this. I know we're recording on the Friday, but Joseph O'Brien's got one today, and then Al Riffa as well. He also trains. Could it be a sort of changing of the guard from Aidan to Sons over the next, or on Friday and Saturday?
Well, Aidan's on the cusp of having 100 Royal Ascot winners.
It's just mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe it'll ask Joseph for one. Change hands last minute. Gosh, yeah, I'm looking at the field now. I wouldn't put you off Yamo B there at a massive price. Quick horse, has probably ran in better races than this, and not quite that sort of level, but this maybe might be possible to sneak into a place, and where it's rattling quick, he doesn't always see out his races, but maybe the quick ground might actually help him to do that.
Jamie Spencer, hold up.
There you go.
You know it's going to happen. What about the Wokingham then? Big betting handicap at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, looking at Ascot form here. Jafra, is that how you say it? Am I getting it right? Giraffe.
First spelt like giraffe.
No, giraffe with a J.
Yeah.
First, second in handicaps at Ascot, 4th on his reappearance run, but I'd imagine with this race in mind and not to blow that mark. So yeah, when you get a horse that runs well here, when you get a horse that can deal with handicaps here, and I'd say still relatively unexposed, so you'd like to think there's a bit of work in his mark. I know there will be in half the field, obviously it's Ascot, but yeah, you can't knock his form here.
You certainly can't. Right, let's talk about the Golden Gate Stakes then. Over 10 furlongs, 3-year-old handicap, loads of in here with chances. We are getting a few non-runners coming through now with obviously the lightning quick ground.
Yeah, do you know who I'd love to get in, but he won't? right down at the bottom, Dante's lad. He almost went through the ring. Well, he did go through the ring. I don't think he sold at the Goffs London sale on Monday. Wherever he pops up next, I know this is not helpful for our Punters Guide show because he's not going to race, but wherever he pops up next, he's on my list as a horse to follow. And then right at the top, Tycoon, he did sell through the ring to Ammo Racing for £2 million, I think it was, from Bjorn Nilsson, who at the start of the season said he was one of his horses to follow. And he pretty much joked that I'm winning either way here because I've got a live Royal Ascot chance if he doesn't sell, and he'll probably sell for 10% more than he's worth if he does. So Tycoon, at the start of the year, he thought a lot of. He was one of his horses to follow for the year.
Big price as well for Ammo Racing now.
Yeah.
Tycoon then in the Golden Gates, and the 35th and final race of the week, the longest one, the Queen Alexandra. Ryan Moore, Willie Mullins team up with an odds-on favourite. He just dominates anywhere, Willie, doesn't he?
Yeah, keep it simple. Was it last race last year? There was an odds-on fav that got smashed off the boards and went in. I can't remember who it was, but either way. If how many races would we have had? 5 days, 7 races, 35th, yeah. Odds-on favourite. Willie Mullins wins everything. Ryan Moore wins everything. Don't fight the market here. One for the good guys, Matt.
There we are. Favourite back is Sent Home Happy. They had a very good day on Thursday when 5 out of 7 won. Jolly's on the card, and Frankie thinks favourite back is Sent Home Happy with Sober. What would be your best bet then for Royal Ascot at the end of this week?
On the Saturday, where should we go? Do I stick in the Japanese line of way of thinking? Not quite. Al Riffer. I've always thought there's more in him than maybe he's shown. I might just be wrong and he's not as good as I think, but I reckon there's a big one in him.
There we are then, both Jason and Frankie liking our Riffer then in the Hardwick Stakes. Thanks to Jason and Frankie for what's been a fantastic week here at Royal Ascot, and fingers crossed you yourself have a few winners on Saturday to celebrate what has been a brilliant Royal Ascot week.